one of the things that I saw,
Mhm.
and I'm sure that you saw, is Lyft, especially because I was listening to a different podcast and I heard it, which made me do a quick research to see if this was true before I came on this show, is that Lyft, either a couple of weeks or a couple of months ago, they rolled out something called Connect Plus or Women's Plus,
Mhm.
which is their version of women only drivers for women passengers. How do you plan on being able to compete with that? Or is that not even in your head? You're like, we're so far ahead of what they're trying to do. We're not even we don't even give a
Well, the reason why they dropped it is because of us. So,
this.
nah, I swear to God, they'll
Oh,
never admit it, but so the airport okay, so when we got into the airport, we were contacting the airport or in communication with the airport because we were trying to drop our own press release about the situation. My co-founder works in PR, so we already had it set up to where we were gonna drop the press release. And the airport reached back out to us and was like, "Wait, before you guys do that, let us drop it." And so they were like, we'll just drop it ourselves and send it through the pipeline through our people." We were like, "Oh, that's even better. You guys are the busiest airport in the world. Why would we say no to that?"
mm-hmm.
So they were like, "We're gonna drop it on this day, da 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 this, da 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 that." So what Lyft actually did was they announced their feature or what that they had a new feature. That was actually 2 days before the airport decided to let the world know that there was a new rideshare app. And
Oh
that's why I was like, a lot of
my
people don't realize, I was
God.
like, rideshare companies, I mean, well, not rideshare companies, but tech companies are very, very like, they're very sneaky, da da this, da da that. Like, they either
Yeah.
steal your idea or your concept entirely. And it's up to you as a brand to like survive the storm because a bigger company is going to come after you. And either they're going to try to buy you out or they're just going to steal from you outright. And so that's pretty much what they did.
This is The Ramblings. Hey guys, welcome back to another wonderful episode of The Ramblings. I have today with us Jillian Anderson. She is the founder of HerRide, the CEO, CTO, and founder. So we are in for like such a really good episode. Introduce yourself. How you doing today?
I'm really good. Again, my name is Jillian. I go by Jill. And yes, I'm the founder, CTO, CEO, all the above of HerRide.
All right. So HerRide is a rideshare app founded by women for women. Tell us a little bit about that, how you kind of got started with us. Give us the backstory, the whole nine.
Yeah, so I moved to Atlanta around 2017 and I started doing rideshare. I was trying to go pro in basketball. And so doing rideshare just fit well with my work schedule. And so I started driving rideshare at
Oh, whoa,
night.
whoa, 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 whoa. We can't just kind of breeze over like that initial kind of thing. So you were in Atlanta trying
Mhm.
out for the WNBA.
Well, not a WNBA per se. I was trying to go overseas, so I knew
Okay.
that there were better teams and better opportunities, better chances of me meeting an agent if I joined like a league in Atlanta. So
Okay.
I came up here to play ball, was trying to get some looks to go overseas. I did end up going to Morocco for a short period of time, but I came back and I realized that like I had a whole degree in computer science, so I need to try to do something with that. Um, I still kept driving rideshare, but like in the meantime, I went and did a boot camp at the City of Refuge. Went and just sharpened my skill set on how to create mobile apps. Now I didn't create the rideshare app HerRide myself,
Mhm.
but I pretty much know how it needs to be structured. I know how it needs to look, and so I went and found a company to do it for me. But yeah, the idea just came from me driving at night, and women at night would be like, "Yeah, I was." Canceling trips until I saw or recognized the woman's name. So I'm so glad that you accepted it, stuff like that, asking me to, do cash rides with them and stuff. So that's where the idea came.
Wow. Okay, so that's actually crazy. So you came to Atlanta to play basketball. You're out here now doing ride sharing and everything like that. So what made you say that, hey, this is something that we're going to launch exclusively? Like, is it like, so just to be sure, is it exclusively for women drivers 100%?
So only women drivers on the platform, yes.
Hmm.
But when it comes to who we service everyone. So anyone can use the platform. Our drivers just have the discretion on whether they want to, if they do or do not want to pick you up. That's pretty much it.
Okay, so that is actually pretty awesome. So we have some pretty dominant forces in the rideshare industry
Oh
right
yeah.
now. What may, especially with Uber, Lyft, like it's not like it's a old industry like accounting and right now Xerox and QuickBooks are like the two big ones and some new guys coming in. This is relatively a new industry with pre-established players that like started this industry.
Mhm.
What made you say I'm going to come in and take my market slice of the rideshare company, and how they're going so far?
I mean, I did it because it's available. There's no major restrictions behind getting into the rideshare space. You don't need some crazy type of license. You don't need to go to school for 12 years in order to do it. You pretty much can get an app done, get some drivers on board, and you can start giving rides in the city as long as you have the proper permits and the proper insurance. So I looked at the numbers just on a whole scale, and I was like, wait a minute, like they're making this much money. Like this is like I was like, it looks like a monopoly in my eyes. So when I broke the numbers down, realized how much they were making just out of the airport alone, I was like, I want a piece of that. Like, it's not hard to get a piece of that. So
Right.
that's what we're doing.
Wow. Like we love like those dive in entrepreneur stories.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you make it sound really, really kind of fast. Give us the breakdown of when you had the inception of the idea
Okay.
to how long it took, and like what were the stages in between up until launch?
Started thought of the idea around August of 2019. So I finished with the boot camp around, I want to say March or April of 2019.
Mhm.
And so I was trying to think of an app to start. And that's when I thought of HerRide, thought of the name HerRide, and like called a few friends, asked them what they thought of the name, gave them like a brief overview of like what the app would be. They thought the name was dope. And so I actually went and got the name trademarked before I even got the app like developed, because I was
Oh.
super excited about the name. I thought the name was that was that good. I was like, "Okay, I think that the name." I was like, "I don't care what I do." I was like, "Even if I can't get the app done, I can at least sell the name to somebody who does get the app done."
Mhm.
Um, but, went and looked for a company to develop the app. That took about 4 months, I would say. So from September, what is that? September, October, November, December, January. Yeah, it took them about 4 months to get the app done, but we didn't really launch it until March of 2020. But of course, March of 2020 was also the COVID stuff. That's when everything shut down in Atlanta. So we were like, we pretty much were put on pause. And that's when I decided to focus on social media during
Mhm.
that entire year because everybody was on social media because everyone was at home.
Right.
So we actually ended up going viral June of 2020, which had us get 7,000 people sign up at one time. And so that was like our first test or like our first stress test to see how many people, we can handle on the platform. That
Mhm.
was dope, and ever since we've been viral on Twitter, we've been consistently getting people signing up, like, since then. Um,
Mm.
Airport decided to do a press release on us this year in September, and so that jumped us up from about 150 people signing up a month until to about 400 to 450 signing up per month. So, it's gone up tremendously, so we're pretty blessed. It took us a year to get into the airport. We started that application process, they approved us in September of 2023, but we started it September of 2022. So that's how long it took us to get in the airport. But yeah, it
Wow.
was a long process. Like that was my biggest focus was trying to get into the airport because that's the biggest revenue generator for rideshare in Atlanta.
Okay, so what does that process like? Is it just like a long application packet and you just submit and have to wait? Or
Mhm.
is there like a lot of vetting, maybe getting different licenses? Like what does that process for applying at a for an airport look like?
So you got to fill out the application. It's not super long. They just ask you to have the same things that you need to have in order to be approved by the Georgia Department of Public Safety. So if you're approved by them, and you have all your credentials in terms of what needs to happen in order for you to just be a rideshare company to give rides in Georgia, period, then your application process for the airport should go smoothly. And that's what I thought because we had all that. But we submitted that stuff and then they submitted to a company called I only know their initials. It's the AAAE. It's a government organization, and they are over like basically going over our code to make sure that we can connect to their API. They give you a set of instructions that you have to do. So you have to basically have a developer that knows how to connect APIs. That they have to go through your code, make sure that you can connect to the airport's systems, given the code that they gave, given the credentials that they gave. You have to run a
Okay,
couple.
hold on. I'm gonna slow it down for some of the people, because I know I'm starting to get lost, and I know
I'm
they're
sorry.
definitely gonna be getting lost. All right, so you're saying like you have to plug into the API for the airport.
Yeah, they
What?
have to be able to know that you're on their property.
Okay. So
Mhm.
as a consumer, because I am in a different kind of I don't code. So I don't I'm in tech, but I don't code. So
Understood.
for the consumers and people that are using your tech, they probably also don't know that companies like Uber or Lyft also have to go through this particular process. Or if you were
Yep.
thinking about doing anything airport, they have some kind of API system like
The
self.
tracking system, they call it the ABT system. It's a tracking system. It's
Okay.
because the airport charges us every time for every ride request that comes through the airport, we have to pay the airport for that. That's the way of tracking it.
Ah,
Yeah.
so that that's probably why it's such a big, probably money business because they converted like the actual. So, what would you say is the second largest revenue in regards to rideshare within the Atlanta area? Like,
Second largest revenue for rideshare?
yeah, second largest and third largest. Like, are they going to be
Probably
centralized areas, or is there still like
ooh, I don't know, I
central
have to go look
areas?
that one up because the airport's number 1. I don't think anybody's beating out 46,000 requests a week. It will probably have to be like a joint
Yeah,
amount.
like an area, like the
May have to be
downtown
like the Bend,
metro.
maybe downtown maybe, or either the Bend Stadium or either the, like, State Farm Arena. If they're having events back to back, you can get like a mass rush or a mass amount of, rideshare requests coming out of that area at one time.
Hmm. So
And if
now,
there's
oop,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay,
No, if they're
so
super busy, then yeah, it's just that you just get that many, but downtown for sure, outside of the airport.
okay. Now with what are you doing in regards to marketing, right? So a lot of people know Lyft, they know Uber.
Mhm.
How are you breaking in, especially within this airport where people are just like, "Hey, I want to go with what I know, get into a car and go fast." How what is her ride doing to break into that airport market for people to be aware?
Working on getting our signage up there, so there's some signage in the airport that does say Lyft and Uber's name, we're trying to get our name next to it, so that's the main thing, and then we're working on getting on the billboard signage out there in the airport, so
Mhm.
as people are walking from their terminals to the baggage claim area, just trying to tackle as many of those, billboards as we can so that people can see us. As long as we're visible in the space, then people will know us. I mean, people will be more prone to downloading us. Geo-targeting the ads in that area, so making sure that we just run some great ads that people will see whenever they fly in, because the first thing that people are doing when they fly in is checking their phones. So trying to make sure that we target ads so that people can make sure that they see us first. And then trying to really actually what we're gonna really start doing is trying to market or figure out those areas where people are flying in and trying to get them to pre-book with us. If we can run some targeted ads outside of Atlanta, just
Mm.
focusing on pre-booking. When people come to Atlanta, they will already be more prone to scheduling ahead and pre-booking with us, especially when they see that we're a lot cheaper than the other guys.
You have it in your head, like, you
Yeah.
have it the information in your head. I can
Oh,
tell
yeah.
even just by the way you speak, you're like, "I already know what he's asking me before he's asking me this, and I already knew the answer." Like, you're good with the number. So I wanna get something that brings out some more soul in you.
Okay.
You seem like you had of a lot of opportunity while you were in Atlanta.
Yeah.
like for someone that's listening, they're like, okay, you have the opportunity to go overseas, like you're looking at playing ball, like you're in Atlanta. That's one of the major hot spots in the world. Like you have a computer science degree that she's like, you know what, I'm gonna go do that. What what made you pick the path of being an entrepreneur competing in the rideshare space versus saying, you know what, I'm gonna maybe be a superstar, or I'm gonna, like be in it, like you're in Atlanta, you could be damn near anything. What's going on? What drew you to entrepreneurship and specifically her ride? Because it didn't sound like you were as excited about basketball as you were just about the name of her ride.
Yeah. I think that I used to listen I was big on podcasts, especially when I used to drive rideshare. So I'm a podcast junkie. I listen to audiobooks, podcasts, all that weird stuff. And so I was listening to a
Well,
podcast.
I listen to podcasts and audiobooks
I
all the
mean,
time.
like
Like, yeah,
clearly I know, right?
what
I say
what's what
weird stuff, but like That's just the way that I
What are some
digest
of your
information.
favorites audio? Like, what are your some? Because I recently listened to Rick Ross's new book, which he had that I kind of got
Mhm.
from free on the Amazon, which was actually really
Yeah.
freaking good. So, like, what are in some of your top audiobooks and podcasts that you're listening to?
Pinky Cole's is number 1 for me this year. Hers is really good.
Who is that?
Pinky Cole is the owner of Slutty Vegan, so she dropped a audiobook this year, and it's
Oh,
really good. I think it's, I think it's I Hope You Fail. I think that's what it's called. So that was yeah, it's really, really good. I like those kind of books. 50 Cent's books are really good. I listen to his.
okay.
I haven't listened to Will Smith's yet, but I have his in my library. I've listened to like 48 Laws of Power, all that stuff. But 50 Cent's books, I really enjoyed those. I've listened to Rick Ross's before. Issa Rae's book is really good. Taraji's book is really good. I listen to a lot of memoirs, like, so a lot of those autobiography books that are self-narrated, I listen to as many of those as I can as well.
I
So
love that your whole list just
mhm.
now, every single person.
Oh,
Only
yeah.
X, only videos are gonna see me right now. Every single person.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
this is for the YouTube crowd. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So, like, I love that you're like that, and not only are you that ingrained, you're that
Mhm.
ingrained to where you're listening to like even people from Atlanta. Now, are you from Atlanta, or
No.
is Atlanta a place that you were like, that's where I can be me?
The Atlanta's a place where I can be me, but I'm also from Athens, so I'm not ashamed of being from Athens. Athens is just small, so, like, this is like a representation of where I'm from. If you are familiar with UGA, then that's where I'm from. I'm from the same city that UGA is in, so Athens, Georgia. I went
Mm.
to, Clark Central High School. That's where Raising Cane's is. That's, like, we're Loop 10. It's very small. It's probably the smallest county, I think, in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, Clark County is. So,
Oh,
yeah, that's where I'm from.
huh. Okay, so we can kind of call it like small town girl, big city dreams kind of thing.
Yeah,
All
that's
like
yes,
the whole
yes,
small town. Okay, so you computer science degree, but
yep.
also playing basketball. Like, which one, I guess, did you love at the time in college? Because it seemed like you seem to have had to be doing both at the same time.
Um, of course, I love playing ball more than computer science because my major was actually hard as but I appreciated computer science. It made me grow up really quick, so having that major was really difficult. I know a lot of my not my academic, my athletic advisors. So when you play sports in school, you get a athletic advisor and you get a academic advisor.
Mhm.
The athletic academic advisor really couldn't help me that much because there were only 2 athletes that were computer science majors that were like out of all the athletes that got money and were on scholarship and stuff. So they kept trying to get us to change our major. I was just like, "Yeah, I'm not changing my major." So I would just, go to them and I would go to them after I picked my classes, and then I'll be
Mhm.
like, "Oh, this is what I picked, and you guys have a great one." I wasn't in any type of academic trouble or anything like that. The only thing that I wish that my school had was I wish that we actually had like tutors for my major. They didn't have any tutors for my major, which kind of sucked. They
Mm.
pretty much had tutors for everybody else. But when it came to computer science, and it was like some other major at the school, like they did not have tutors for us. So that I wish is what we used to have. But I love playing sports more than the schoolwork, of course. I really enjoyed college. I will say that college was really, really fun.
Mhm.
The work made me disciplined and all that good stuff, but I enjoyed like the free time that you got from college. Yeah, that was like no other.
Okay. Now, I was just thinking about this. Like, are you a attracted to adversity? Like, do you feel that you need adversity to feel something? Because it
Um,
seems like every path, like basketball, like trying to go pro, even overseas, isn't doesn't seem like the best route. And even with a computer science degree, you could have said, I'm in Atlanta. I can go to any startup and go try to find a six-figure basic entry level job and keep it cakewalk. I'm in Atlanta.
yeah.
Like, what is it about a challenge that you seem to choose that?
I've just always been competitive. I think that's really what it is. I have this competitive spirit. I've never been someone. I've always been an entrepreneur. I will say that. Like
Mm,
I've always done entrepreneur things. I sold candy in high school.
One
When
of
I got my
those.
report
Okay.
card, yeah, like, I was born and raised in the church. When I got my report card, I used to, like, show my report card off to, like, people at the church, so, like, the older members and stuff like that, get $1 here, $5 here. Like, I got really good grades in school, so I would, like, really milk it. So
Yeah, like, ooh, one $5
I would
per
really milk it. So,
day.
like, I've been always, like, someone who's thought of different ways to get money, and I've never worked a traditional I would say, like, a traditional job. So, like, for example, you're 16 years old, you get your first job. Most people used to work at, like, McDonald's
First
or,
job
like,
was
the
McDonald's.
mall, right? My first job was during the summer. I was actually a pool clerk, so I actually I actually just sat down. I made as much money as everybody else did in terms of minimum wage. They had minimum wage jobs. But I sat there during the summer and just took the pool admission fee, which was like $1. I sat in the shade. They used to have a fan next to me. I was very comfortable. It was
Oh,
I had
don't
very easy. Yeah, I
hold
had
on
very simple jobs. So like I was one of those kids that was like, I was like, if I'm gonna be working, it's gonna be very like laid back,
for me.
feet up type of thing. I'm not doing that hard labor type of thing. It's gonna be on my time. And so, I've been working jobs like that since 16. So, when
Okay,
I
so
got into
I knew
yeah.
there was something here because people get mad. I've never like the realest job I'd had, if you will, is
Mhm,
I was technically kind of like a bookkeeper, but not even really for
mhm.
a pet sitting company. And I did more pet walking. Like I walked more dogs and picked up more poop than like actually did office stuff sometimes.
Exactly.
So like I under like, but when I was like, when I get up there, I'm working for me. Cause like I'd rather like now that I see it, I'd much rather struggle with trying to find clients, trying to get onboardings, whatever it is that we do as entrepreneurs, than my friend graduated Fairfield University, has an MBA, now has to look for a job and it's like, man, I'm not taking anything less than like 85, da 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 da. He's like, bro, jobs aren't getting back. This I got to go through interviews, and I'm like, I have never experienced that in my entire life. Godspeed to you, my friend.
Now, I've had jobs. I actually still work full time right now. I work, I have a I'm a
Whoa!
state employee, yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa. We gotta backtrack on that. Okay.
Yeah.
You're running it. My oh my god, you're gonna put me to shame if my dad like decides to listen to any podcast. I promise you
Oh,
it's gonna be
yeah.
this
It'd be not
episode.
this one.
It'll be this episode, and he's gonna be like,
So
they're
what's your
working.
excuse?
Yeah, why don't you doing another thing? Because I
Exactly.
only am doing, I'm like, well, because this is all I'm doing. Like, what do you
Hey,
mean?
man, it's no problem. I have to do it to, help fund her ride, but I do it because, I don't wanna worry about I really don't wanna be driving for her ride in order to survive. That's really the thing. I could,
Mm.
but I don't want to. And then also the job that I work is really easy. Again, we're talking about, like, super easy jobs. So I have a job that's, like, extremely simple. It's remote, so it allows me the freedom to move how I please. Yeah, 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 but I still have full benefits, so
Oh, see, look. Oh, see, listen. That they don't talk about that. That's a
yeah.
hidden thing that being able to fund your business
Yep.
always feels a lot different. Now, what one of the things I kind of want to jump into are the metrics within her ride.
Okay.
One how many rides per month or even per week are you guys like booking and actively driving?
Mhm.
Um, and I guess questions from the readers, really questions from me. Uh, how often are you driving for her ride, if at all?
Right now I'm not driving. I haven't done a ride in 2 months, which is great, which means we got our drivers a lot more active. And on the last 2 months, we did about 250 rides both months. So that's a good thing. And what we're working on right now, we just secured a deal with a nonprofit organization. They do 5,000 trips per week for senior citizens. And so they want to bring us on board and do like a pilot program with us. So I want to start off doing 100 rides a week with them and then increase it hopefully up to 1,000. So if we can get 4,000 rides a week out of them, that'll be incredible. So that's my goal right now for the next. We're gonna
Wow.
start that with them next month. So we're right
I
now we're sitting around 250. We have about 200 drivers on the platform. They're not all active all the time. So my most active drivers is ranging around 30 between 30 to 40 people that are active for the most part every day, every single day.
mhm.
And then we have about 18,000 customers that have signed up since I've created the app. And so that's just 18,000 different people that have made accounts and signed up. I have about 30,000 people that have signed up. I mean, not just downloaded the app in general.
Mhm.
So that's pretty good numbers as well, good conversion numbers. But yeah, I am a numbers person, so yeah, I do keep track of all that. I know how much
No,
people spend
listen,
and all that good stuff.
that is extremely important. Now, as a numbers person, I wanna get
Mhm.
into the community building of things because that's really, I feel, where her ride's moat is going to at least develop and be within that women-based community.
Mhm.
Are you talking with your drivers, or are you talking how often are you talking with drivers, and how often are you talking with consumers, if at all?
So we're talking with drivers almost every day. We have our active drivers in a group me. So they're in a group me group chat. If they respond in there outside of the group me, I do a town hall meeting every 2 weeks with the drivers. It's a Zoom call to where they can ask me any questions about the app. If there's any new drivers that are on the platform and they want to get a tutorial of how to use the app, I can do that with them on the Zoom on the town hall meeting.
Mhm,
And just giving them updates on what's going on with the app about like, hey, we got this going on, we got that, we got this meeting with with this company. As we start building more partnerships, I want to start running what's called a guaranteed ride program. So that town hall meeting is really just going to be more so like a meeting at the beginning of the week to let all the drivers know what rides will be available under our guaranteed ride program for the week so that people will already be able to schedule in advance how much money they want to make or what rides they want to claim and all that good stuff. Because we're gonna add a claim button on there and everything so that drivers can just claim trips in advance, have those trips lined up under their profile, and then they'll be dispatched to them accordingly. So if a driver's interested in making like $200 in a day, they can just line up those trips and already have them ready. Now it's their responsibility to claim them. If they claim them and then they don't fulfill them, then they'll get penalized. So that'll be the only time drivers get penalized is, if you claim a trip in advance and then you do not fulfill that duty, and I don't know what the excuse like, your car pretty much has to break down for you not to fulfill that trip. I don't pretty much care because you shouldn't be piling on trips like that if you don't plan on fulfilling them. But
absolutely.
that's my spill on that, but we do have a lot of things, planned in advance for that. I'm ready.
Now, with anything, there's going to be some kinds of hiccups, and I feel like Uber took the brunt of those hiccups
Yeah.
being the very first in the business. What are you doing with her ride to ensure that you can avoid as many of those bumps as possible outside of it being a selective community?
Adding new features that aren't on the other rideshare platforms. So safety features that not only keep us safe, but keep the driver safe. One of the features being this selfie feature to where if a customer books a trip on our platform, they have to
Mhm.
take a live photo of themselves. So even if you don't provide a profile picture of yourself under your profile, if you do book on our platform, our driver is going to know what you look like. Also, if something does happen on that trip, we actually have of actual photo of the people that were in the car. We'll have a photo of the driver, and we'll also have the photo of the passenger. So if anything happens, we can also provide that information to the proper authorities because we will not be playing that on our platform.
Well, yo, it seems like you thought this all the way out. And if you're anything how I'm thinking, you're
Mhm.
already thinking about where you want to dominate next. Now,
Yeah.
are you I'm gonna ask the question, give my thought slash answer. I want to know what you think.
Okay.
In expansion, if I were to take a guess, you would go to other cities before taking over the rest of Georgia. True or false?
Yes.
What cities are you looking at going to first? Or what is the next city that you are eyeing? Because I already feel like you're like, okay, if I can get these two chunks, we got the airport, and we if we can get this other, elderly rideshare, we might start looking at a new spot. What other county or location are you looking at?
In Georgia, it'll be Savannah, probably, Albany is actually where I'm from, Albany area. People use rideshare out there. Now outside of Georgia, Houston is the number one city that we're looking at next.
Why
Um
Houston?
You need your car to drive out there. I've heard multiple times that, like, it's kinda like Atlanta, it's just terms of how spread out it is.
Mhm.
Mm. Then Chicago. Chicago be the next area because, again, people are telling me that, like, just the way that you need a car out there. If you don't have a car, it's pretty much hard to get around out there. So thinking of places like that. And then I have a friend that works with us, that's helping us on the executive team that is from Kansas City, Missouri. So Kansas City
That's
might
where
be,
my aunt's from.
yeah, Kansas City might be a good look for us as well. So
Okay.
all places that where like public transportation isn't the main main point of transportation where people use their cars in order to get around. So those are the places that we'll be looking at.
Okay. So why not mention LA?
LA is just so populated. I don't know, it's just so saturated. Also, I think I can't remember how much it costs for a permit out there. They are tripping. Some of these cities and their rideshare permits, which is called TNC permits, are
Mm.
extremely egregious. I think Virginia's cost like $100,000, and that's really
Oh,
huge for Virginia.
so in order to do rideshare within a state, you have to pay the state a certain fee to operate in that state.
Yep,
I'm learning stuff all the time now. Okay.
yep, you sure
S-
do.
So one of the things I've done, I try not to do a lot of research before I come into these like interviews and
Mhm,
meetings and stuff, mainly because I want to be surprised. I would like things to be my natural reaction. One of the things that I kind of saw,
mhm,
and I'm sure that you saw, is Lyft, especially because I was listening to a different podcast and I heard it, which made me do a quick research to see if this was true before I came on this show. Is that Lyft? The reason that they have those pink colors is because when they first were starting out from like Zimmer Ride or something and switched over to Lyft, part
mhm,
of what they were originally going to do was be a woman focused and based community. I was listening to one of the VCs that was an investor. Now,
mhm,
obviously, they kind of focused more on the rideshare option overall, but either a couple of weeks or a couple of months ago, they rolled out something called Connect Plus or Women's Plus,
mhm.
which is their version of like women only drivers for women passengers. How do you plan on being able to compete with that? Or is that not even like in your head? You're like, we're so far ahead of what they're trying to do. We're not even we don't even give a
Well, the reason why they dropped it is because of us. So,
this.
nah, I swear to God,
I
they'll
know.
never admit it, but so, like, they, the airport okay, so when we got into the airport,
Mhm.
we were contacting the airport or in communication with the airport because we were trying to drop our own press release about the situation. We were gonna, my co-founder works in PR, so we already had it set up to where we were gonna drop the press release. And the airport reached back out to us and was like, "Wait, before you guys do that, let us drop it." And so they were like, we'll just drop it ourselves and send it through the pipeline through our people." We were like, "Oh, that's even better. You guys are the busiest airport in the
Hmm.
world. Why would we say no to that?"
Mhm.
So they were like, "We're gonna drop it on this day, da 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 this, da 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 that." So what Lyft actually did was they announced their feature or what that they had a new feature. That was actually 2 days before the airport decided to let the world know that there was a new rideshare app. And
Oh
that's why I was like, a lot of
my
people don't realize, I was
god.
like, rideshare companies, I mean, well, not rideshare companies, but tech companies are very, very like, they're very sneaky, da da this, da da that. Like, they either
Yeah.
steal your idea or your concept entirely. And it's up to you as a brand to like survive the storm because a bigger company is going to come after you. And either they're gonna try to buy you out or they're just gonna steal from you outright. And so that's pretty much what they did. Like they have if you look at some of their advertising, some of their
Mhm.
advertising is stuff that I've said on my Twitter. Now I may not have trademarked those phrases. Unfortunately, that's on me. But like rise for women by women or just different things like that. Like I've said so many different things in terms of like just catchy phrases that I just never trademarked in terms of references to her ride. Yeah, they've taken a couple. So that's why I was like, I'm not upset about that because honestly, it just gives me an exact target to, go after you guys as drivers because we pay more. So I could just go and get Women Plus Connect rides all throughout the city. And it's whatever woman picks me up, I just tell her about my company and get her to convert over from your platform to mine.
You are I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you can't be scared of the
got
competition.
it. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Whew. What what was your initial reaction when you saw Lyft drop that?
I was hot. I'm not like mad, but how dare they? Like they could have called
Oh, great.
they could have called us and tried to acquire us first. Like I felt disrespected in that sense. Like they just gonna try to steal from us. Like we just ain't out here building for real. Also, but I also felt respected because they knew that we were past the point of just being bought out. Because if we're in the airport, now we can make money. We
Right.
can make just as much money as they are if we're in the airport. So it's
Would you
past
take a
the
buyout now?
would I take one? Not from Lyft. I probably would. But it would have to be an acquisition deal that's similar to the lady that had was it Miel Organics. I like her deal. I like the way her deal was structured. She was able to stay the CEO of her company. They were able to maintain their name. They pretty much just got access to L'Oreal's like distribution centers and all that good stuff. But like I would like a deal
Mm.
like that. I would like an acquisition deal like that. Like give me $800 million and let me keep my name and let me keep running her ride, but let me just have access to your services. A company that I would love to do business with on that type of level would probably be like only person that can compare is Uber because Uber has like they have food delivery, they have
Right.
package delivery where you're picking up stuff from Walmart and stuff now.
Hmm.
They have um they have a freight line. They have what else is it that that they touched into? Pet, I think where you're taking pets places.
Yep.
So I would like to have access to all those services, but to able to still be able to pay my drivers when I'm paying my drivers. Like
Okay.
I don't want you to buy us out and then you're crabbing our drivers the same way you crab your drivers. No.
Right.
We keep everything the same. We just have access to your services. That's kind of the type of deal that I would entertain. That's really the only type of deal I would entertain. Um,
Okay.
I
Now,
know how much money we can make.
do you see her ride as your brainchild kind of company
Mhm.
startup, or is it more for the right number, or if I happen to get another brilliant idea that I'd like to pursue, you would do that? Or is her ride like something that is going to conform and become part of your identity?
I think HerRide's always gonna be part of my identity. I don't know if I'll ever sell it entirely just because I understand how valuable this company is as a transportation company. And I feel like this may be something that I just want to keep in the family. Who knows? Like transportation companies are very valuable. There's no reason to either be acquired or to sell them because they're always gonna make money. Um, So that's my number one thing. That's my biggest thing about her ride is I mean like that like I said that's why my acquisition deal would have to be set up a certain way to where it still stays in the family. I'm just getting paid out to have access to services because our brand is just that popular. Or
Wow.
it could be just like it could be looked at as some type of extended partnership, an exclusive partnership to where I only work with Uber, where like we only work with Uber services.
Okay, so you have done some remarkable things
Mhm.
very early on in your career in regards to her ride. What are your goals, especially now that we're in this? It's December 13th. I don't know when this is going to drop.
Oh
Probably
yeah.
like next couple of weeks, but
Yeah.
definitely before 2024. What are your goals? What is her ride trying to do in 2024 that some people would be like, "Oh, that seems like a stretch," but I'm here for the ride."
I wanna be doing 1,000 rides a week. That would be dope.
1,000 rides a week.
Yep, that would be dope. That would be great, actually. I would love to do another interview if we're doing that.
Oh, listen, you
Whole
come look, I cannot
my
wait.
whole
Like,
face would look different.
when her ride is doing, like, 1,000, 3,000 a week, I'm gonna be like, "Yo, we had them on the podcast, yo." Like, that was, like, a really good moment for us.
Mhm,
Okay, so you have her ride. You have a full-time job. You are in the airport. You're about to be in the medical field doing, like, transportation for old people and everything like that.
mhm.
What are you doing for Jillian?
I mean, I have fun by my I do I actually, work on self-care. Sundays are my days. I do like I said, I listen to the audiobooks. That's my thing. That's my way to detox or not detox or relax. Oh, another way I relax is I actually love to binge watch TV shows. So if there's a
Okay, got
show
you.
that I haven't watched, that's the thing about me. Okay, so me with shows, I can't do the week by week thing. I don't have time.
Neither do I.
I
Me
need
and
it
my
to
mom
stack
call it
up.
crack. We
Yep.
wait. We're like, if you watch it every week, you're a crackhead.
Yes. Also, I looked into the Black Friday deals for streaming and like signed up for some good ones. For example, Hulu, I think I got for like $2 a month.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and get that. So like I'll wait until the show is done. Bet. So now I can watch 15 episodes in one weekend or whenever that one day. I'll just go and watch 12 episodes and just be watching something for 12 hours straight. So that's like my way of taking care of myself. I enjoy indulging in Chinese food. That's like my little thing that I do. That's like my way of
Why?
celebrating. Why?
What is like? Is it
I
China?
really love Chinese food. And I only eat one dish from the Chinese restaurant, so that's not. It's not like I just go there and I'm just eating random stuff. I
Sweet and
only eat
sour.
chicken and broccoli. I
Oh,
only eat chicken and broccoli.
really?
Yeah, chicken and broccoli with rice. Usually white rice, but if I'm just feeling fancy, I'll get fried. I swear, but it has to be chicken and broccoli. I don't eat any other dish.
Like you don't like sesame seeds, sweet and sour,
I've had
lettuce,
that before, but what I'm going to go and spend my money on is
chicken and
chicken and
broccoli.
broccoli.
Listen, sound like we from New York real quick for a second.
No, it's
Get some
crazy.
chicken
I'm
and
not
broccoli.
my family's from up north, but yeah, that's my thing that my parents used to take us to the Chinese spot. It was
Mhm.
like on Thursdays or something like that. It'd be like one time during the week. But they put us on. My dad put me on chicken and broccoli. He was like, "Yeah, you're gonna eat this." Like he didn't. He was one of those parents that was like, "Yeah, you don't get a choice in what you're eating. Like you're
Oh,
getting where we're getting." So
exactly.
he got a family size of chicken and broccoli with the rice, and he was like, "This is what y'all are eating." But we like broccoli. Like I was a kid that liked broccoli, so when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this thing, this don't look like nothing foreign." He introduced us to the little sweet sauce that they give you. Never look back. I never looked back.
Yeah.
Never looked
So,
back.
speaking of childhood,
Mhm.
coding takes a very precise math skill. Was
Yeah.
math like your strong suit growing up?
Yeah. That was probably my strongest subject. I was in college and I took all the way up to like calculus 3. I was in a class called operations research. It was crazy. It got hectic. I started questioning my own self when I was like, why did I choose this? Some of this stuff is hold up, wait a minute. This is getting a little egregious. Wait a minute. Yeah, like math classes I have taken before are extremely hard. Um when I try to explain that to people, it's very hard for me to explain it, but I pretty much can like do math in my head. So that's why I'm like really good with numbers. I can blurt off numbers really, really quick. Me and my co-founder be on the phone and we'll be talking about like this, and this. And she'll be like, "Oh, I wonder how much that'll be." And I'll be like, "Oh, it's that." And she'll be like,
Mhm.
and she'll go like, you'll hear her pause on the phone. And she'll be like, "Ah," I'll be like, "Yeah."
Yep, because
I'll be like,
the numbers to me like, for me, growing up, I loved
"Mm,
numbers because I thought that was big. Like, I knew I was gonna be in business. Like, I was reading, like, Rich Dad, Poor Dad in, like, 6th grade type of thing. Like, I was like, "I am thinking of a business now. I'm trying to be rich by 20, bro. Like, I gotta get out of here." But one of the big things was I was like, "Math." But when I got into entrepreneurship, they was like, "You gotta write because you have to sell these things." And I was like, "I
mhm,
can talk to people." So there we go. They're like, "Well, we don't do that anymore. All those videos you watched of people going to set like one of my jobs, and I was so happy to do this too, was I sold Kirby. I sold Kirby for like 3 weeks, which are those like $2,500 vacuums that they're
yeah,
like, hey,
no, yeah.
they're $2,500 vacuums that they're like, the very first thing that they tell you is do not sell the vacuums in ABC areas, AKA where you're not going to make money.
Right.
And the very first place they take you is place A, B, or C, where they just told you not to go. And now I'm sitting here like, I just sold 3 vacuums and made $150. What the like I'm thinking my commission should have been $2,000, $3,000 because that's what it was. But subprime loans, now we only pay $50 if it's a subprime loan. It's still $2,500 that they're leasing. Give me my check. So I did that, but
Exactly.
that's what I thought selling would have been. And then it got to be, hey, we do things on social media, TV. You got to be able to like write that so people think.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh my gosh. So you partnered with someone. that's in PR. So they're probably like that creative half. But you as a founder have to do and lead sales. How do you approach your numbers based brain to applying it to people that most people I would not say are a numbers analytical based brain? So how do you convey your knowledge of numbers in a creative way that allows for the people that you're speaking to be receptive of that?
Um, I just break it down. I use a lot of sports metaphors. I'm not gonna lie. I use a lot of sports references, sports metaphors. That's kind of how I get my point across. But I am straight to the point, and I am very analytical. So people do know that about me, and I tell people that straight up. I'll let them know like this is my goal. This is the metric that we're trying to hit. Do you think that you can help us do that? Do you think you can help us complete that? And it's either a yes or a no for me. It's not really like a, oh, I'll see what I can do. Because I'm not going to tell you that I'll see what I can do. If I'm telling you that I can provide 200 trips a week for you, I'm going to do that. So are you going to be able to complete those trips?
Mm. You're very yes, no, black or white. It is or it is not, and we're moving with whatever you decide.
Yeah, and the reason I'm like that is because we're paying the most out of everybody. So it's not like you're not making money. Like you're
Right.
the reason why you're here, especially as a driver, is to make money on the platform. So at the end of the day, I need to be able to depend on you as a driver. So if I can depend on you, then I can make as much money as you need to make in a day. If you're saying that I want to be able to make $250 in a day, then it's my job to in order to find those trips for you, but it's also your job in order to show up for those trips. So it works hand in hand. That's why I'm so straightforward because drivers that drive for HerRide or for any platform, they are treated as independent contractors. So if you want to be treated as an independent contractor, then this is what independent contractors do. You are your own boss. So if you're someone saying that you want to work with me and or for me, then these are my rules and or requirements in order to get paid 80% of the fare. Can you honor that? Yes or no? If you
I
can, we're glad to have you on board.
I think that there's something there for every business owner, founder, startup founder to have, like
Mhm.
to take note of. And I feel like people are gonna miss this. So I'm gonna like I feel like I'm gonna do a lot of editing on the cuss words I've done. I don't usually cuss in my podcast, but the lesson here that I really want people to know from what you just said is pay people not what they're worth, more than what they're worth, and
Mhm.
then you can have the balls to be precise and say either you're going to be on board or you're not. But don't short nickel and dime people and then expect them to then roll over hand and fist to be able to provide those rides for you, which is
They're
something
not gonna do it.
that they're not. Now, how like which brings me to another number point. What is the split for drivers versus what her ride brings?
So our drivers keep 80% of the fare. So a
Mhm.
$25 trip on the platform, if a customer pays $25 to get from like downtown to the airport, the driver keep 20 of that.
Oh, Uber ain't shit, y'all.
Yeah.
Uber don't touch. Okay. So how are you getting that point across to the drivers that have that Uber stigma of, "Ooh, if I feel like canceling a ride, I'll cancel it," because you don't have that replaceability that Uber has. Like,
Mhm,
"Oh, we can just keep looking for a new driver at all times," right? Where drivers that are coming from a different platform, they probably have this premonition because they don't necessarily probably know how big you are
mhm,
with, "Hey, what are we like? I'm just gonna cancel. I don't feel like it. Like screw you attitude, basically, because
mhm.
they don't really realize how tight knit and how small and how important they are to the actual operation in comparison to what they are in the operation to Uber. How do you get that? Not only is it a paid thing, but we are also going to hold you to a much higher standard than Uber.
By communicating with them. When we onboard somebody onto the platform, again, we put everybody in a group me. So me and another executive, we're speaking to them on a daily basis, just letting them know our expectations of her ride. Letting them know that like 90% of our trips are pre-booked in advance. So if you're available to look at those ahead in advance, and if you want to claim that trip in advance, all you gotta do is just let us know that in the chat. so that everybody that's also in the chat, which is also a driver, can know as well. So again, like we're not trying to stunt your money that you that are making on Uber and Lyft. We do not want you to be online all day for us. I don't want you wasting your gas driving around the city saying that you can't get any rides while being online. That's not what we're asking you to do. We're asking you to continue making your money the same way you're making your money, but then also look at us as an additional source of income until we can eventually replace your primary sources of income. That's my biggest thing. That's my biggest thing to these drivers right now is letting them know, like, hey, we are not like Uber and Lyft. I wish we were, but we're not. I cannot, load you guys up with false promises saying that you'll make $20 an hour. I mean, $20 per mile, like Uber was at one point. I
Right.
can't give you guys crazy incentives like that. I can be realistic and show you, like, look, if you put in this amount of work, you can make a little bit over a dollar per mile, plus making almost 25 cents per minute. And when you driving in Atlanta traffic, 25 cents per minute can go a long way. So just letting them know, like, these are more realistic fares and fees and rates that you can make on a platform like this. On top of still making money doing what Amazon Flex and whatever it is, because there's people that just do this full time. When I say that they're not people that are trying to become a whole bunch, there's not a whole bunch of Jills trying to pop up out of the world. Why? Because running a rideshare company, getting an app made, all the other crazy stuff, that takes a lot of work. Everybody ain't trying to do that. People
Right.
just trying to people just really want to make around six figures or whatever money it is that they deem is comfortable for them, so that pays all their bills and that they ain't got to work and slave 40 hours or over 40 hours a week for. So if I
Mhm.
can make people about $1,500 in 40 hours worth of work, I promise you, we'll have drivers retained a lot longer.
I guarantee
As
it.
long as they get inflation under control, because my God. But yeah.
Oh my god, another completely different thing. I got someone I'm gonna bring on to talk about that because that's ridiculous. Oh, me with that. Anyway, huh, before we have to officially get you out of here, one of the things we always like to do is we like to pass on knowledge, right? And so I would like to ask you, what would you give to a different entrepreneur that has to make the decision of building something difficult, right? Whether they're trying to build another social media, a rideshare app, but they're going to essentially be competing with in a new industry with new players that are the new pre-established players, like Google in 2005, 2002, right? Though that Google was new, they were in the new space, but they pre-exist because they were the pioneers essentially almost.
Yep.
What advice would you give to someone that's in your situation trying to claw their way in a new industry with big players already?
Man, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Just know that the competition is watching you. Make sure that everything is protected from a trademark standpoint, from a copyright standpoint. Just make sure that your name is protected and don't be afraid to have a acquisition conversation. Understand what those numbers would look like if somebody did try to offer you $1 billion for your company so that you're not blindsided. Why? Because you've never seen $1 billion in person. So you need to have those type of conversations before that type of conversation actually comes to the table so that you'll be able to handle yourself and not be stuttering all over the place and stuff like that. Like, no, for real. Like these are type of things I be telling my co-founder. I'm like, we need to be having conversations like this. Like, if they offer me 1 billion, what we gonna do? Like, I'm not about to sit here and act like I ain't never heard or seen or heard that number before. I'm be like, okay, and like and we need to be blurting off how much the global market space is or how much the market space is as a total in the United States. Like, we can't be scared of them talking about some, oh, we'll give you 1 billion for everything. Okay, I really want 10, I really wanted 12 though. So y'all really not talking about nothing. Like that type of thing. And that's not disrespectful. People and like I've had conversations with people that can't really think on that type of level. They're like, "Oh, you
Mhm.
would turn down 100 million." I'm like, "Yes. You don't
Yes.
think my company's worth 100 million, like worth
Absolutely.
$100 million?"
Absolutely. Absolutely would turn it down because I know what
But they're
I'm
like, "Oh,
doing
but you ain't
with
never seen this and you ain't never seen that." I'm like, "But I understand how much his name is worth, and if they're
if
rambling
they're
off
if they're
100 million
giving
as the
me
first number, come on, man. Like, come on. We're worth way more than that. We're worth 10 times that."
because they got to make money. And they gotta make
Exactly.
and they not doing it to make little bit of money. They trying to make money hand over fist, over
Yeah.
ankle, over neck.
So that's my word of wisdom is to be ready. Be ready to have those conversations and just Stay in your lane. Do not try to provoke them. Do not try to intimidate them. I've never been one to none of our advertising is, shady towards them. I wasn't shady towards them until Lyft was shady towards us first, actually. So I actually ignored both of them when it came to just having conversations about them or, mentioning them in our advertising. We stayed in our own lane and we built our own community. Focus on that. Focus on building a loyal community.
Oh man, this I ever since I started getting Twitter entrepreneurs on this
Mhm.
podcast, I had like we have been getting out of you, man.
Yeah, I'm glad.
LinkedIn,
They be
like
talking
what?
crazy about Black Twitter sometimes. I'm like,
Oh
"Man, we
my
got that."
gosh, man. Nah, y'all killing. Y'all killing it out here.
Thank you.
Jillian, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Oh no, we do have one final
Oh, yeah,
question.
yeah.
Where can we find her ride? Where are people booking? If people want to drive, tell them where to sign up. Tell them, give your shameless spiel plug. Go.
Oh, yeah. So we are, you can find us on all platforms when it comes to just social media for HerRide at Get HerRide, GETHERIDE. And then you can find us online at www.herride.com. Again, it's HERIDE. It's only one R in HerRide. And then you can follow me on Twitter at the Real Bop. So that's THREALBOP. That was like a nickname in high school. That's another story for another day.